Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Rain Talks. Today, I have a wonderful guest, Gabi Gray. She's incredibly talented. She's a West Coast singer, songwriter, and producer who recently just came out with a new track, Lost You on In Extremis Records, which I personally love. Welcome, Gabi. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited about this.
I appreciate it. As you can tell, there's a little time change. I'm on the East Coast. Gabi, where are you? LA?
I am in California. I'm in Orange County right now. Also, sorry if you hear dogs barking. I'm dog sitting, so hopefully they will stop barking soon.
It's okay. Mine's asleep right here. Sometimes her snoring comes through over the mic.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm in like someone else's house, but I actually moved back to Huntington Beach. It's where I'm from in Orange County. I was in LA for like the last year and a half, but I just moved back here.
Nice. Did you move there during COVID or pre-COVID that it happened?
LA, I moved like peak COVID, like second peak in November of like 2020. So it was pretty rough, but I was there for like a year and a half. And then, yeah, I just kind of needed to get out of the city for a little bit and come back to a place that was more familiar. So now I'm back here.
Nice. So I just kind of want to ask you some questions to get into your kind of musical background and kind of how you got into music. You're incredible on the keys. You have a wonderful, soulful voice, and you're a great music producer. Like, what came first, and like, kind of what started the interest to get you into music?
Yeah, totally. So thank you for those nice words. I definitely started off as a singer. I've been singing since like I've been in the womb, honestly. I grew up, my dad was and is in a band. So I feel like that kind of sparked that musical interest in me from a really young age. I watched American Idol from like season 1. Like that was my dream. In high school was when I started like singing and songwriting. And I thought for a long time that that's what I wanted to do, like, and only that. And then I always liked dance music. I was a dancer. So again, I don't know if that kind of contributed some things, but I remember listening to like David Guetta and Afrojack and like all those people and being like, this is really cool. And like no one else did. And then I got into like YouTube rabbit holes with like Skrillex and all those guys. And yeah, I think it was probably around college was when I started producing because I joined a music minor. I went to San Diego State. And it was an electronic music minor. I didn't even know it existed. And that's when I first opened up Ableton and everything kind of went from there.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's so funny that you bring that up. I don't think when I went to college, electronic music school was like a thing unless you're in like certain major cities. It was just going to music school alone was a crazy thought. But electronic music school was like, I remember downloading Ableton in college and being like, I don't know what this is, but this janky Windows laptop I have is struggling to run it right now.
Oh yeah, I am very lucky. And like I said, I didn't even know it existed because I went to college from 2016 to 2020. Still pretty young. So like I got into Berklee College of Music in Boston for voice, but I ended up not wanting to do that because I was like, I don't want to get a performance degree because you can't really like do much of that. So I got a degree in public relations and I'm very thankful I did. But yeah, the music minor was just this like fluky coincidence that I didn't even know about. And it was like electronic and I had never opened up Ableton before. And I was like terrified. But yeah, it taught me a lot for sure.
Did Ableton come with the course?
They had people that had the cracks. So I don't know.
Allegedly, we did not. Gabi did not use any prior to software. Allegedly, some other students did. For anyone who's
listening. I mean, I think it was like you could do either or, but like there were people who had bought it, so like they helped kind of like give it to you. And I think back then it was like Live 8 or 9. But yeah, it was kind of like the only option too. Like that was what the teacher taught on. And so I had a little bit of knowledge of like GarageBand and Logic. I had never heard of Ableton. I had no idea what it was. It literally for like a year looked like just like robot language. I did not understand anything.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember how long it took me to find the arrangement view in Ableton, but once I found that, it made sense.
Literally, I feel like that alone is just huge. I didn't know how to record for the longest time. Cause like when I first started, I was just like, we had homework assignments in the class. They were really small. Like he would just teach us like compression and then say, okay, try and use this. And you could submit like a 30-second track. It wasn't like, you know, like Maker had to be like a whole thing.
Plug it on.
Yeah. And so he literally, for one song, I was like, I want to record, you know, I want to sing and record. And I did not know how to like change the inputs. Like I was so lost. I had to like text multiple people in the class. I was like, where on Ableton do I like turn this input on? Like, I didn't really understand how to use my interface. Like looking back, I'm sure you probably feel the same way. It's just, it's almost like comical, like in a way, like how everything just comes so naturally to us now. And so many things, like we didn't even know how to press start record. Like, you know, like we just didn't until.
Oh, it's terrifying. You just look at it. Like, I have no idea. I also I remember when I first downloaded it, it was like before YouTube was a thing. It was like, it was popular, but it wasn't like now where I'm like, what is the easiest way? Like, what is the best compressor plugin for Ableton 11? You're like, then there's 30 videos, or how to use this compressor now. Then there's another 30 videos. It was just like, I guess I'll read the manual.
Yeah, you're like, I guess I'll just maybe Google and like, yeah, because it comes with a manual. I think I've looked at it a few times for like really nitty gritty things, but I feel like also like asking, like, if you know people who use it, that's usually like the quickest reference, I think, for like asking for help.
Yeah, I went to school in the South, deep South, and I remember when I started listening to like house music, I'd be like, "Hey guys, like listen to this. It's so cool. Like this guy's name's Cascade. He's amazing. David Guetta, that's amazing." They're like, "We don't want to listen to house music. This is crazy." And then I remember trying to get people to go to shows. There'd be like Avicii would come to town, the One North America tour. No one would want to go. And then like I remember like 4, 5, 6 years later, it was like everywhere. And I was like, everyone was listening to it. For the longest time, I was like a guy out in a desert trying to figure out someone to go to a show with me.
Yeah, literally. Where did you go to school and when?
I went to Georgia Southern University from 2008 to 2012.
Okay. Yeah. So that would make sense. I feel like things were like starting to pick up, but it changed so much like in those years onward too.
Yeah. In the Southeast, we had Bass Nectar and Pretty Lights like nonstop.
Okay.
And that was it.
I feel like, do you think it's still that way now, or do you think it's pretty different now?
It's super divided. It's very like house music now, or just popular electronic music. And there's almost like an overwhelming amount of shows that happen now. Even when COVID happened, once it started opening back up, Atlanta was one of the first places. So every person came. So if you want to go to a show, there's like a good artist, like a headliner almost every weekend here across the multiple venues. It's crazy right now, but it's great.
Yeah, I think that's great. I feel like with COVID kind of relaxing too, I'm sure it was just like every major city artists were just trying to book at and go to.
Do you have any concert tickets for anything coming up?
For my, like, where I'm like going to any, or?
Yeah, like you're going to any.
A few, well, festivals, I guess. I'm going to Crossed in San Diego. For all the house lovers out there, definitely recommend it. I was talking to someone in Cosmic the other day who's like a house producer, and he's like, I've never heard of it. I'm like, you need to go. Like, it is a 2-day festival on the water in San Diego. Like, and it's especially fun for me because it's kind of like a reunion because so many people from my school go. So I'm doing that, and then I'm also going to Coachella. I have my ticket from 2 years ago. Before the pandemic. So yeah, excited for those. What about you?
Nice rollover. I was actually in Palm Springs this past week, where Coachella is, I guess, where everyone stays when they go to Coachella.
Yeah, like in Indio.
Town. Yeah. And then I have tickets to go see Lane 8 April 1st in Atlanta. I am very excited. And then I don't have any tickets for anything else right now. I had tickets for Wooly, and I couldn't go because I had work stuff come up. And then I had tickets for someone else that I couldn't go to see either. But the good news is people just come through all the time, so it's awesome.
Yeah, Lane 8's great. I've seen him at a festival, but I've never seen his like own set or like his own tour. So that'll be sick.
I'm pretty excited. It's at a kind of smaller venue in Atlanta, so it should be a little more intimate. Like, I'm very excited about that one. Big Lane 8 fan right now for me. I've been blessed that I went to a lot of music festivals and some big ones in my and from that I've seen everyone.
Yeah.
At least twice. So
Awesome.
like some of the newer artists that are coming through, I haven't seen. So it's nice when people are coming through to get excited about it again, to kind of go see them live in person. Cause like some of those artists too, like Lane 8's just going to just slay it live versus
Right.
like, you
Right.
just listen to the music. You only get so excited, but it's going to be way better as a live performance.
Right. I feel like you have to be in like a certain mood to listen to it all the time, but when you're there, you're there.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be like Eric Prydz style where it's one long song where it's just perfectly blending the whole set together. No mic time, just it's starting and then it goes until it ends.
Honestly, probably. I don't know if he's doing it still. Did he mention anything about like you not using your phone? Do you remember seeing
I think it is.
Where you like they give you either
like
you have
a bag?
Yeah, like a bag or like a sticker or something to put on your camera, and it's like a very big deal where like you're not allowed to take any videos or photos.
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm not a big phone like video guy. I'm like I need to like make the memory.
Yeah.
That being said, I also have like 4 videos from Millennium from when I just saw him at Red Rocks. And they're probably like 18 seconds long, but I was like, I gotta get this. And then I was like, no, I gotta put it down.
Oh, I'm the same way. I'll like I have this weird blend of like when I first started going to festivals, I was so in the moment. And then when I had like post-festival depression, I was like, I wish I took more videos. And so what I've started doing, and I don't take them vertically. I know like I have vertical videos, but I don't post these videos anywhere. They're just for me and like my friends. So I hold my phone up like horizontal, like this, like an idiot in the crowd. But like I don't look like I'm looking, but like my phone's up. And sometimes
the exact same thing.
Oh, literally, because I'm like, I don't want to look at like I just want to remember this later. I'm like, I'm not even like, and I try to like be really minimal and like not do it for every song. And like, my friends and I will always like share videos anyways. But there's nothing like it's that like bittersweet thing of like I want to be totally in the moment, but like I know that I want to look back on this and not just like a YouTube stream. Like I want to see it from like see my friends, see like the experience, because like it's fun to capture those memories. But I think it's cool what he's doing. Like no one else is doing it.
I agree. I don't know if this is getting off topic, or if this is controversial. Like I actually have been enjoying going to shows less recently because some of the newer crowd that goes is more there to be seen than there to like. They're doing so much more than actually like enjoying the music.
Right.
I was like, just put your phone down, just enjoy it. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely my parents always say that too. They're like, we didn't have phones back in the day. Like, I get it. But yeah, I think it definitely depends on like where you're going, what the show is. But I don't disagree with you because like social media and phones are just like a big deal in all of life now. So got to live with it, I guess.
I will also admit I am happy when some people post stuff to Instagram after the show and I'm like, oh, I didn't take any videos. That is what that drop was like or the buildup was like.
Yes. Or like the artists themselves post like, like the not like the real, like the 5 in a row. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I remember I love when they post the set. They don't always do it, but like when I went to Countdown, I think it was 4B like posted his whole set and I didn't even get to like see his whole set. So I was like, cool. And like as you're listening, I'm like, oh, I can remember like being there. And I get why artists don't for every set because like they want it to be special for those people there. But I love listening to sets at the gym. That's like all I listen to. So
I agree. Or like that random guy that like got a GoPro in for music festival and put it on like a totem pole and got like a whole set. It's like really bad audio. It's shaking up and down. We got the whole thing.
Exactly. I'm like, it's just there for the men. So I get it.
Do you remember what your first like electronic music show was that you went to?
I would say I think it was Flume. When I'm thinking about like a single show. Yeah, I got real lucky. I think sorry, the dogs are wrecking again. I was in college and he was doing his skin tour. And I was was I in college? It was either my senior or high school, freshman year of college. I was pretty young. And I drove up to LA with my friend for the day and we saw it. And it was great. I have a picture. I'm not sure if it's still on my Instagram because I archived a lot of my Instagram a couple months ago. But I took this, like we were in the front. Like the shrine is this huge expo hall. And now I don't care. When I go to the shrine, I don't need to be in the front. But when I was young, I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. All I cared about was being like right there. So we were at that front rail and like, oh my gosh, it was one of the coolest things. And then like a year later, I saw RL Grime there. Yeah, and then I think Coachella was probably my first. That was my first festival, so I would assume that was probably like my next big like EDM thing. But yeah, what about you?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was. I'm 98% sure about this. It
Okay.
was Bass Nectar.
Okay.
New Year's Eve at the Tabernacle, which is this old Baptist church that got turned into a concert venue that's gorgeous. And it was like the first time I'd gone to a show, and it was New Year's Eve, so you went like all out for it. Just over the top, this massive set countdown, like balloons dropping from the ceiling, at midnight. He had this like fake snow machine, and I was like, it's what shows are like. And then I was hooked. And I literally, I think I went to every single one I could in the Southeast for the next like 4 years, like driving everywhere I could.
I love that. Well, that's what's nice about living. Like, I feel like in like back East is like all the states are like, it's pretty close together. Like, it's not that hard to drive from state to state. I don't have that luxury.
Yeah, we also have that Atlanta's like the only big city like in the Southeast for a while. So like everyone stops in it. It's like a cultural hub, and like you're getting every concert if they're going to the Southeast. They're just on the way to Florida. They're just going to drop in.
No, that sounds. I haven't been to a show in Atlanta. I think I've flown through Atlanta. I've been to the airport, but I have yet to come. So now I must.
It's fantastic. Weather's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a cultural hub. You got like
totally
the best hip hop ever coming out all the time.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like that'd just be such a fun city, especially to like with music and stuff. It would be a great place to go.
It's cool. There haven't been a ton of electronic artists popping up out of here, though.
Yeah. Is there any off the top of your head?
I probably have forgotten a couple, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
We'll have to look it up after. No, I want to know.
Big names, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
There's some major local players.
Wink, wink. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Speaking of music production, so you're still an Ableton girl today.
Yes, I am.
What other gear do you have that's in the stable that like you use every day that you can't live without?
Totally. I mean, I don't know if my Mac is like my blood. Like I've had a few Macs over the years, and like I know they just came out with a newer one, but I have one that's like 2 years old, and I got like the 15-inch screen, and that's been like a game changer. Then having the little 13-inch screen, but I used to use a Duet interface. They're like really good. If there's like one knob, it looks like an old iPod, but it's like this big. But then it like finally died on me a couple summers ago. So now I use an Apollo, a UAD Apollo, which has been great. Yeah, it's been. I think it's the twin. I don't remember.
Probably the twin.
Yeah, I think whatever.
Silver with a big knob.
Yes. Yeah. It's been really great and like really high quality because like I'm a singer, and like the plugins, it comes with 5 of like the legacy plugins, so they're just like they're not even that much different. Like they have like multiple like almost like levels of each plugin, and it comes with basically like the light version of like 3, like the Pultec and like a few other like Pultec EQ I love, and like I'm probably going off topic, but that's what was really nice about it. I got to try out some like nicer plugins, and then I have a KSM 32. It's a Shure microphone. I love that. I have a very janky setup. It is in my bedroom. I've had like when I was living in LA, I actually had a giant walk-in closet, so I converted it into a studio, which was kind of cool. I put like LED lights up. But I have like an Amazon like mic stand foam thingy. You'd think as a singer I should know what this thing is called, and I don't. And then I have it on a shock mount with a little pop filter, and I just record in my bedroom. So yeah, that's my setup.
Midi keyboard?
No, well, I don't have like a mini one. I have a Yamaha electric keyboard that has like a MIDI outlet. I want to get like a portable one because, to be honest, like when I'm writing, it's so much easier for me to play the chords than like drawing them in Ableton. I can't see very well, and I'm like, is this the right chord? Like, so.
I have the Akai MBK Mini because I cannot play keys to save my life. I'll do it sometimes, and then I get frustrated when I get going. I'll do it for melodies when I'm playing around, like just playing around, but I have to then go, I'll do it, but I won't even like record it. I'll then just be like, all right, this is the notes, and I'll go draw it in with the pencil, and that's how I do. I like turn the little listen note, and I'll be like, and like pull them out, and that's how I do. I cannot do it to save my life. I have to draw. One day I'll learn to play the piano. That's probably my goal this year, but
I think you can do it. You already, like, I taught myself. I always wanted to take lessons. I never did. When I decided that I wanted to songwrite, I was just like, well, I got to pick an instrument. And I actually tried guitar first. I had my dad got me a guitar as like a Christmas or a birthday present. It hurt my hands too much. Once I had to start learning bar chords, I just like gave up because I was like, these are too hard. I can't do it. And piano required no pain. And it was very visual. Like, it was very easy for me to just like understand it like alphabetically, and just like once I learned the basics of all, this is like my tip to you or anyone else, like what makes a chord like 1 3 5 or like whole half whole, like just learning those little like tricks, I would manually be like, okay, 1 2 3 and like count, and then eventually the chords became muscle memory. I suck at theory. I don't know theory very well. I know it a little bit, but like if you were to tell me like what are all the notes in like an A minor is easy, like a G flat scale, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. I just do everything by ear. So like I think you could probably learn how to do it because you don't really need to know theory, because your ear will tell you like this chord works, oh this one doesn't. But I think
I have like cheat sheets I pull up and have like on the left side of my screen when I'm going. And then I remember when I was trying to learn music theory, I like watched a bunch of videos. It's like, this doesn't make sense. And then it was like music theory, like explained in math. And it was just went through numbers. And I was like, this all makes sense to me now. Just remember numbers. I could count.
There you go. You can count. And everyone's different too. Like I took theory in college. I had to. And I ended up understanding it a little bit more, but it's nothing that like super sunk in. Like people will ask me like, what key is your song in? I'm like, I don't know. I have to put in my DJ software and like look, because I don't know. Like I have rough guesses, but like so many chords are in the same scales, and like I just have been writing by my ear for so long that like it's never gonna change. It just won't.
So do you have any tips for people who don't have your wonderfully trained ears getting into music production about how to learn music theory?
Oh, I feel like, I mean, I think YouTube could definitely be helpful. I think when I first learned music, like, or how to play piano, I watched a few YouTube videos. I don't even know if they still exist. GarageBand had like little videos of like instruction that I watched. Like a dead ass, it was like they had one for guitar, for piano, just like basic courses. I watched those. It was very easy, done very well. Good job, Apple. Are we surprised? But yeah, theory, like, I mean, I did take a class in college, so that was probably like helpful. But yeah, I would just say, or like if you have the financial means to like get a coach or like a teacher. I took voice lessons for a long time too and learned some sight reading and stuff. And that, I think that can be super helpful. But I don't know. I feel like everyone teaches themselves everything these days. Like there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious too. So when you're doing your actually songwriting, like what is your process? Do you start with like the music part first, or like the lyrics, or you start humming something out, or like what is your process to whenever you start songwriting?
Usually, ironically enough, it's the piano first. There'll be times that I'm like feeling a certain way and I'll write in my phone. I have been like woken up in the middle of the night before with song lyrics. Very rare. A lot of times they're not even that good. I just like feel inclined to write them. Usually it's either I'm emotional and I'm like, I need to channel this emotion. So I go sit at my piano, or I'm just kind of like bored and I just have like I probably should try and write right now. I just have different like moods that I'm in, but I'll go and I'll just start playing chords. Like I'll just be like, all right, here we go. And just like pick some. And like, I have no idea where it's going. I'll mess around with the melodies. Usually once I have the chords laid out, then I'll create a melody, like kind of singing it. And then I'll write the lyrics. Like 90% of the time, that's how I tend to write. Some of the times I've written songs in like 10 minutes, like entire songs, lyrics, everything. And then other ones have taken me like a few weeks, few days. Just depends. But I have noticed, and I'm sure just in production, I feel like you could even say this, like Do you agree that like the things that you finish the fastest usually end up being your best work, like without even trying?
Yeah, 100% without a doubt.
Yeah,
It's like
it's crazy.
I ruin my stuff a lot where I get going, and if it takes a while, I fidget too much, and then I'll be like, "What happened?" And I'll just like go back multiple versions, and just then I get frustrated and just call it a day.
Yeah. No, I get it. And that's the thing in the DAW too, like it's such a whole different beast of like songwriting. Like I remember when we were talking about in Cosmic, and like I'm sure you had heard me ask these questions. Like, I don't know, I kind of write and arrange at the same time because I'm so used to doing that, like, you know, like in the flesh, like on my piano. But yeah, that I would definitely say that's usually my process. Like it kind of always starts at the piano first, and then I just hope for the best.
Do you record it when you're going, or you just play it out until you have it right, then you actually recorded the DAW?
Yeah, I'll usually, once I find a melody that I like, or even if I don't finish it, I'll do it in my voice memos first, like almost always. And to be honest, I have probably like 80 originals, like just sitting on a Google Doc, and I don't know when I'm gonna like actually record or produce any. Like, I randomly will pick one. So yeah, I don't always put them in the DAW, and people are like, send me demos, and I'm like, they're voice memos, because I just like, I should get better about recording them, but I don't know. I constantly struggle. I'm still learning and like finding my sound, and I definitely want to be like a singer and a producer at the same time, but a lot of my stuff doesn't translate well into EDM. So I'm kind of in this weird battleground of like, what do I do with it? Because they're beautiful songs, but like, I don't know if I could turn them electronic per se. So yeah, we'll see.
I haven't heard the other stuff, but I would disagree wholeheartedly. Like, let's talk about like Lost You. It's like one of the coolest tracks I've listened to in a while. It has this super like soulful, rich voice over it that you have the whole time, but it has this cool like drum and bass pattern going that like, keeps the track moving along and just like pulls you through it the whole time. I like from the first time I like listened to it, I played it on repeat since. Like, tell me about the track. I'm a big fan about like kind of how you mix it together. If anyone hasn't listened to it, it's very unique, and I'm a big fan. It kind of gives me like the old Nero vibes back in the day.
That's a huge compliment. I remember when you said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh. Now you're making me
listen to their old Nero tracks. I know it has the same like vibe to it.
Okay, I definitely will, because like I used to listen to them, but I was never like a super fan because I think I was kind of young when they were like peaking. So that track is interesting. It's that you bring that up, and that it's like the one that just came out. That was like the first track that I wrote, started in the DAW. I was like wanting to challenge myself, and I was really inspired and still am by like hard wave, this like genre that's kind of been blowing up over the last couple of years. And I actually at the time was taking lessons with Kill Paris, if you know who he is. Super cool. He's now more just really like, I think he might be coming out with like his final album or something, but he's like the nicest guy ever. I got connected to him through a Facebook music group I'm in. And we were working on some stuff, and okay, I guess that's technically like, so I did make a remix in the DAW right before, but anyways, first original and the like real original. And the, like, if you listen to the song, like the first few bars, it's just like atmospheric pads and then this like chord pad. The chords were a splice sample that I'd already had. And I was like, oh, those are pretty. Like that kind of sounds like something I'd write. And I think I ended up like pitch shifting them. And then I have this really cool pad pack that I use for everything. I forgot what the actual name of it's called. I only know it's like OS_F. I don't know, but it's like pads in a bunch of different keys.
I'll put in the links down below afterwards so people can find it.
Perfect. Literally it's like my secret sauce. Everyone's always like, what are those pads? I'm like, not mine. Literally a splice pack. But yeah, so I kind of just like threw that together. And then I think I actually wrote the whole track before I wrote any vocals for it. I knew that I had wanted vocals because it sounded kind of empty. And, you know, hard wave has this kind of like slow drum and bass feel because the song's like 155 BPM. So it's not real drum and bass, but like it is, you know, because it's like a little bit faster than like dubs. I don't know, but at least like the drum patterns I used in it were. But yeah, I don't remember what it sounded like, but the first drop I made was not this drop. It was very bad. It was like I'd only made like one other drop before, like my very first song. And I was like, I don't know how to make a drop. And then luckily Corey was amazing and helped. I don't even know how he did it, but he just like gave me some ideas to use. And a big part of the drop is I used Gate in Ableton, like the Gate plugin, and I used that on the atmosphere pads and like gated them, and that's what gave them that like glitchy sound, and it like created a melody for me, and I was like, this is genius. And then I think I knew that once I recorded vocals, I was like, this has to have Vox vocal chops on it.
Yeah.
And those are like my favorite part of the song, is like the chops and the drop. And one of my favorite parts is when I like go silent and I like auto panned them to change the time of them. And like, I just had so much fun like creating that song with the vocals and the chops and bringing it to life. And yeah, I literally, that song I started in the summer of 2020. And then I kind of like, I took a big hiatus from music for about almost a year. It was like when I moved to LA, I just like wasn't feeling it. I didn't produce. I didn't open Ableton for months. Like, not a great time, but I knew that I would get back into it. And then the first thing I wanted to do was like finish this track, because I'm like, it's done. It was basically done. I just like needed to finish the mix down and master. And I ended up having a few friends kind of help me put those magic touches on it, because it just wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I didn't know anything about mixing really until like Cosmic. So I knew very little. And yeah, and then shipped it out to, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try sending this to a label, and send it to a bunch with broken links. And
Gabi, you're better than that.
I know. And that's why I don't even remember in class when I asked Justin, I was like, so I got some replies telling me my link was broken. Like, does that count as a thread? Like, because there were like multiple labels, like they actually replied. They were just like, the link's dead. But In Extremis was the first one to reply saying that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like, of course I was crying. I was so upset. Sent him the new link. He got back to me a few days later and he said he wanted, his name's Ricard. No, that's not right. I think it's like, he's in Barcelona. He's great. Love him. And he, I think we signed it in like October. It was like a long time. Like it was like 4 or 5 months, September, October. And then it came out a couple weeks ago. So if that tells you anything about how long it takes for songs to come out. But that was that.
That is so exciting. That was your first signed record, right?
Yeah, I'd like self-released 2 songs before this one.
Do you have any advice about people getting record signed or going through the process of something you didn't know that you know now?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely, I think, a few methods to the madness. I've asked people the same question too. And a lot of people kind of told me, like, I think like self-release first and kind of show that you have momentum and then try, or just go, I don't know. I think when it comes to like timing of like, if you've never released a song, I really think it's a case by case basis. Like if your stuff's that good, I would say like start, like try, you know, like the worst thing you're going to hear is no, or you just won't get a response. I just did a bunch of research on labels that were already releasing music that were kind of in this sound or genre. The only thing about my song, it's like, I feel like it is a little bit more experimental. So I was even struggling.
I wouldn't call it experimental, but it is very unique sound.
Yeah, unique. It's like I'm combining like 5 different styles in one song. So it
works, but it definitely doesn't sound like I couldn't put my thumb on it when I heard it.
Right. And it's like a cool thing, but it also made it a little difficult because I was like, well, it's not technically hard wave because it doesn't have those like crazy big synths, and like it's drum and bass, but it's not like the traditional, and it's like it's a type of trap, but like too fast. And I was like, so I don't know, but I basically just like shot it out. I did some research, a lot of research on like a good way to send a demo email. But honestly, I've learned a lot more since then, and I will probably switch up. I did most of it, I think, like correctly. Like I personalized every single email. I didn't BCC. I was like, hi, James, or hi, whatever their names were. And that's a fake name. And then I would talk about, I think I ended up using the main skeleton of the email was the same, but broken link was a mistake. So be very careful. And here's where I got did you just
put a SoundCloud link, or did you put Dropbox or a Bitly link to shorten it to track it, or what did you end up doing?
So I did SoundCloud. From here on out, I'll probably use Bitly, and probably still use SoundCloud just because I like seeing like you can see the plays.
Me too.
But so on SoundCloud, if you copy the link in your like search bar and you don't double click, you won't get the full link. It's weird. Like you'll get like a fake link, or not fake, like a shortened link. So I use that.
For those that don't know, you hit share private link, and it tacks on something called a UTM parameters that allows it to track the source of it. If you do not copy that whole thing, it'll be a big old thing. It'll say Gabi Gray music, then the track, then all this other crap. Make sure you get all the other crap or it won't work.
There you go. I didn't even know that technical language. There's a button now on SoundCloud. Sorry. Hold on. Danny? Dog whining. There's a little, it's like almost looks like a paperclip button that immediately just copies the link and use that. That link works. Or just don't use SoundCloud. But basically, so the way that mine was broken was because the way I thought it wasn't broken was because I tested it and I sent it to myself and I opened it on my desktop and it opened. But what I realized was that was just because I was already logged into my SoundCloud. It like for some reason like bypassed the brokenness of the link. The second I logged out of SoundCloud, it said links not found. And I didn't even know that until this guy replied to me, and like multiple people replied saying it was broken, and I was devastated. So don't do that. But then I texted some of my music producer friends who are very successful and have music on labels, and they were like, it's fine, we've all done it. So I was like, that makes me feel better. Because I was just so embarrassed. I was like, am I the first person to ever do this? Like, how embarrassing, how unprofessional. But yeah, and then I just reached for the stars.
It worked out.
It worked out. He like Ricard's like so nice. Like at In Extremis, like if anyone has like, and honestly, all the song I found his label on SoundCloud, and all the songs are different from one another. Like that's what I love about it, and I think that's why my song kind of found a home there, and he liked it. And they had an in-house like artist doing like the visuals, which was really cool, and we got to like work back and forth on that. I told him colors and I just said, go for it, like have fun. But yeah, so my advice for that is just try it. Like the worst that will happen is like it doesn't work, and then release it anyways. Like it literally doesn't matter. But I would say just like do your research on like labels that you think actually would pick it up, and like know the quality of your song. Like if you don't think you're like Zed's Dead or like Nightmare yet, then like don't send to like Deadbeats, because like they're not gonna listen. But and I'm not ready either. I'm not. Like it's just, it takes time. Start small for sure. And we learned that, just the smaller labels are more creative too, and like they want to help you, and they have more time to help you.
Which is good. I have the internal struggle too. I'm like, should I get a label? Should I reach out to a label that has all the artists that sound just like me? Mm-hmm. Or should I reach out to the ones that don't have an artist that sounds like me, and I'm the artist that doesn't sound like the rest of the other people, so it makes sense for them? And I'm always just like, what should I do? And then I'm probably just going to send it out to everyone.
I would say, like shoot your shot. Like don't limit yourself. Make a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. And track them. Like, I didn't know about email trackers. Now I know. So I'm going to be tracking like who opens my emails and the links. But I would just kind of track like who replied. I don't remember if I sent follow-ups. I think I was planning on sending follow-ups, but then I had gotten a yes. So I was like, oh, I don't need to. But also like some labels didn't get back to me for like 3 weeks later and like they even said like the link's broken, but like I think that's how like backed up they are. So like give yourself time too. Like if it takes 3 to 4 weeks before you hear back, like that's also normal.
Yeah, I forgot what website I was looking at, but they're like, we are currently not taking any more demo submissions. We have like 20,000 we need to go through.
Oh my
It was like a medium-sized label. I was like, I guess. So think how many people send them stuff there. I was like, every person thinks they got a hit, and every person sends one in.
That's crazy. I wonder, like, genuinely if they listen to every song. Like, how would you, like, I don't know. Or maybe they have a team of people. Like, how do you decide what songs to listen to? Like that's a lot of songs. Or they just listen to all of them. I don't know.
They probably try to, but you gotta think. Imagine if you had to listen to that many songs. I would be like, first 30 seconds, I'd skip to like 2 minutes in. Right. Boom, boom. Maybe give it 35 total seconds or something like that. Maybe a minute over the course of the song if you're lucky.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot. Damn, I wonder what label. I've never seen that before, but I can imagine that that's like a very.
I gotta find it. I'll send it to you later. But it was literally like, we are closed. In 2022, we might open back up.
Damn. Well, that's do you think you're gonna send any stuff? Like, do you have any songs you think you're ready to send out?
I have a couple I've been sitting on. I was waiting to get through Cosmic to learn some stuff, learn some skills, and clean up some tracks. I got a couple. I was doing some research today. I'm looking to send out, and my strategy is I'm just gonna hopefully just pitch a bunch, and if it doesn't work out, that song wasn't it. I'll put it on the back burner and just start making another one.
There you go.
My focus now is not to get too attached to them. The first ones I made, I'd get super attached to, and like hyper focused on them.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, get it done and then move on to the next thing. And then like worst case scenario, I get some feedback and I'm like, change this and I can change it and it'll be good. But I try not to just think that this is the best song ever. This is the one that's going to make it. For very few people, I don't think that's the scenario. I think it's like consistently just putting good work and better work out every time. Well, is the formula nowadays first.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it, because you could also self-release it, but at the same time, it's like you might want to save, like just keep trying until you get on a label at this point, because you're getting better. Because now that I know that I've gotten on a label, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever self-release again.
Oh, now you got the confidence boost. You can do it.
Yeah, my ego won't let me. I'm like, if no one's taking this on, then it's not good enough. So yeah. I feel, but it's hard not to get attached when you spend hours and hours and hours on something you really like.
Yeah. Like Lost You had that sick sound to it. I always debate if it's actually my genius that figured it out or if it was a happy accident of just going through, trying enough stuff over and over again to like, how many bad things did I go through to finally get that one cool thing that sounded good? Like, did you know you're going to execute that sound, or was it just like, let's keep playing and then like, this is what happened?
Like the sound, good. Like the track as a whole. I would say that.
Well, like when you said, I think you put the gate on it at one point, and I was like,
I think the gate. I think I did it like in the lesson with him. Like I think it was Corey who was like, "Try this." And I was like, "Okay," and because I was just like, "Corey, I don't like this drop." I don't even remember what. I wish I could. I could probably find an old file. I think I was trying to make it some cool like bassy drop, maybe using some like splice bass. I don't really remember. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't like hit and it didn't like flow. And then he was like, why don't you try using a drop with sounds that you already have like in the song? Because like I really liked the verse and like the intro. I loved that build and like all those sounds I was using. And I think that's how Gate, but like I said, I don't know if I would have done that if it was just like a happy accident that I was taking lessons that summer for 3 months and Corey was like, try this. I feel like those are always how like the best things happen. It's just like those weird accidents. I think there can be a method to the madness, like you were saying, like if you're constantly just like scroll, like, but I think in that
going through serum sounds, I'll be like, I'll have a pack. I was like presets. Nope.
Right. Yeah. And I know that we have been told to like advise, like do those in your short sessions, before you go into like the writing session. But I still sometimes, I like to create my own, sounds almost always, like at least for like synths and stuff and pads. This was one of the few songs where like those pads were just so beautiful that I was able to just like chop them with the gate and create that like glitchy sound. And then I literally just threw chops on top of it and was like, there you
go. So plugins wise, you have a bunch of UAD stuff, I'm assuming.
I actually haven't bought any of like besides the 5 that like came with it. I do want to explore more, but I am very broke. So
they are very expensive.
Yes, and so I'm like, you know what? The LA, I think it's the LA2A, the Poltec, and like a few other ones that came with it are working great for me. And but yeah, were you gonna ask me like what other plugins I use?
Yeah. Also, if your track sucks, a plugin will not save it.
No, it just sparkle a little bit. Like what I've learned, and I think like Cosmic kind of helped us, at least help me understand too, is like digital plugins like do the job, but like that high quality like sheen on like nice plugins is what you're lacking when you use like a default plugin. But if you're just trying to like cut something, you can cut it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're just gonna compress something, you can compress it.
I just need to cut the low end out. EQ8s will be perfectly fine. I'm removing.
Yes. Exactly. I've become, well, my newest favorite thing ever since Cosmic is like, I was like, it's time for me to get a FabFilter. So, because I knew I wanted a dynamic EQ and I didn't have one. So I was like, Pro Q is great because it's very visual. I've been using that on like I'm mixing down a track right now, actually a track from the class. And I've just been using it on everything, and like it's helping, it's working. And I think it's like because I finally know how to use it. You know, I don't think it would have done me any good 2 years ago. Now I actually know when I'm EQing, like I have intention. But Serum's also great. I use Serum for everything. I would love to get that really expensive synth plugin, Omnisphere. That's like my dream.
Silent
plugin.
is another one.
Yeah. What do you use? Serum?
I'm Serum guy.
Yeah, Serum's great because I did the whole rent to own. It was like the first thing I ever bought for myself, and I was very proud.
I think that was the first plugin I bought.
I wish more plugins were like that, like a payment plan. I don't understand why they make you pay like $300. You know, like
Gabi, they want to make money.
I know, but like,
and we'll buy them. We're obsessive people. We see it, and we see other people using it in a video, and we're like, we have to use it.
Yeah,
but and then we look at it 100 times at $300. We add it to their cart. We don't check out yet, and then we have one day we just break. We hit it.
I know. Well, I think they're losing clientele by not doing it the rent to own way. But you know, that's just my very not humble opinion. But yeah, Serum's great. I don't watch a lot of tutorials, but like when I tried learning how to like I wanted to make big Millennium synths. That was like my goal, you know, and like I watched tutorials.
I've watched that video before many a times.
Oh, I'm sure there's a bunch. I've watched like all of like how to melodic dubstep. Like I've done it all. But then over time, like you kind of just mess around and like you just figure it out and just layer them. I'm trying to think of other plugins I use. I mean, I use a lot of Ableton like default, honestly, right now, because I'm still kind of like, I'm just now starting to like really up my plugin library. Do you have any? What are your favorites?
I got the Plugin Alliance bundle, and now I'm completely overwhelmed. I've spent like hours just going through them and like playing with them, and I don't do well with too many options.
Okay, right.
I like to do everything with as much standard stuff, and then replace it at the end if I can.
Yeah.
And I'm just Googling like best compressor Plugin Alliance, and then I find it and I pull it in.
That is overwhelming. There are a lot in that bundle.
I'm a big fidgeter, so like I can't give myself too many options. I like tell myself, I'll like set it up beforehand. I'll do like a saturator, I'll do like corrective EQ, and I'll like make my chain to start on each one. And I'm like, I can't change anything here unless it's actually like sound design.
Yeah.
And I'll catch myself, and I'm like, I've been fidgeting with this little wheel going up and down now, trying to get just right. And I just wasted 20 minutes. So you're cut off. You're not allowed to touch anything.
That's good. Or, you know, like we will know, like do it before, but it's hard when you're like, it's right there. Like the jaw is already open. Like you see the plugins, like they're right there. But yeah.
My favorite plugin though, out of all, is the Splice plugin.
Which
so
one?
I don't know if you know, you can pull Splice onto a track.
Okay.
And you can go through the library and sample it and it'll play it on your track in Ableton.
Wait, how do you have to like download this? How do I?
Yeah, you download it, you install, and you pull it on as a track. And so what happens is when you go like, if you have the actual Splice app on your MacBook,
yeah.
So you can go through and you can play a loop, and you go through all the samples, and it'll play it at the same BPM as your track's playing on your track.
Is it
and you
free?
Can choose the volume. Yeah, it's free. But when you're going through Splice, I can go through like drum loops, like nope. It's amazing.
I did not know that. I usually just like, I have the Splice app, but I'll just like go through it. Like I won't go through it in the project, you know, like tab.
It'll like sync up with what you're doing. So it like helps go through the process better.
Oh my God. I'm totally going to use that. I did not know this existed.
Yeah. Cause then you do that. Then you're like, this is what I want. And you pull it on.
That is great. There you go. See, and it's free. Not everything has to be expensive.
It's free. You still got to pay for Splice.
Yeah, I do. I actually just paused mine because I was like, I haven't downloaded samples in a while. And like, I'm so focused on mixing right now that I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to need to get samples for like a month or two. And I have like 900 credits that I just like constantly, like
it's stacking up.
Yeah. I'm like, I wish that when you paused it, well, I don't know. It's nice because when you pause it, you get all your credits back. So like I'm not wasting any money. That's, you know, it's nice that they do that, but it's like, how am I going to use all these credits? So a lot of times when I get that high, I just I'll try and find packs that I like most of the sounds, but I don't know. I really need to go through my library and like clean up, because I just have like sample packs and things. Like I used to use Somatics. That was like the OG when I didn't know anything. And like they're great. Like I use their hats and like I use some of their kicks, but I have like 8 of their packs, and I'm like, I'm not going to use every sound from 8 of them. Like I'm just
you use them the first time you buy them, then after that they're just sitting there half the time.
Yeah, and I had like the free pack, so I got like 8 free, whatever. But now I just need to like, I have my samples like somewhat, or like I'm getting like they're organized, but like I could organize them better, and I just need to like delete stuff because I want to save room on my computer too. And it's just like, maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know, when I'm feeling burnt out. I think that's a good admin task I could do.
Yeah, I pay for Splice because I love samples. It's like part of my creative process is to like try different things, and then I like do that. Then I remove them with actually writing stuff. It'll kind of like play. That's how I play around a lot of times to get stuff going. Oh, I like where this is going, and then I'll evolve on that and actually start writing stuff out. But they also back up your project files if you have a Splice account.
Interesting.
I don't know. Do you have that turned on?
I don't know. What do you
So
like? Wait.
So all your Ableton projects, it'll back up all your Ableton projects to the cloud. So if you jack anything up and your computer crashes, you don't lose all your stuff.
I didn't know that. I don't know. And yeah, I literally just turned Splice off like 2 days ago. But when I do that again, I'll have to check, because I do back up my computer to like a hard drive, but that's actually nice to know.
You don't want to lose it all.
No. Knock on wood. We don't need that here.
All right. Last question.
Sure.
If you have one production tip or piece of advice for upcoming producer, singer, songwriter, DJ, what is the golden piece of advice you wish you would known?
I feel like this question's always difficult, and I always don't know what to say. You can do anything you set your mind to. I don't know if that's advice. That's more of like words of information. But like, I guess the other part, that piece of that advice is like the whole, if you really want something, you can find the means to do it. It's up to you. Like that's something that like I struggle with, is like, I think a lot of people, just like the human ego, like we get lazy, you know, and we just like are like, oh, how is this going to happen? How is this dream going to happen? I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, I don't know if I want to put the work in. It's like, I don't know if I can do it. It's like, but if you put the work in, like you can do it. And I think it was hard for me to put that work in when I was in college, and I was trying to have a social life and be in a sorority and like all these other nonsense things. And now that I'm an adult out of college and like music has become my #1 priority, it's all I think about, and I will do everything I can to make it happen. So I guess that would be my advice, is just like, it's up to you, you know, and like what you get out what you put in, for sure.
Incredible advice. I could not agree more. Gabi, thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate it. Everyone find her, Gabi Gray Music, on Instagram. Was it Gabi Gray on Spotify?
Yeah.
And then Lost You is on Spotify. Go hit the heart button, smash the play button. Once again, Gabi, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This was so fun.